This is a no haircut haircut. What's good, everybody? I come in peace if you are somebody that totally avoids getting their hair cut, whether you are terrified of losing length, or you're just trying to grow out your hair, or even if you're just not sure if it's the right time to cut your hair, and there's a lot of fear around that. Welcome back to the channel, unless you are new here. In that case, I am your main girl, Mel. I'm a professional hairstylist, and I am here to teach you how to take better care at home. So what is this no haircut haircut that we speak of? I am super excited to explain to you why doing this type of treatment and hair trim dusting is so important to the health of our hair, and how you can do it at home with some helpful tips and tricks. And just before we get into it, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button right under there, just to let me know that you care, I would love it. And now let's do some hair. You know, I'm not called Manes by Mel for nothing, okay? Now before we get cutting, what really is a dusting, and how does that differ from a hair trim, and how does that differ from a haircut? Let me tell you. You get a haircut when you are changing the shape of your hair. You get a hair trim when you are maintaining that shape. But you get a hair dusting, which is really not much, when you're not looking to change anything about your hair except for making it more manageable and making it healthier so it can continue to grow long. Now, when it comes to how often you should get a haircut or a trim, it really depends on the current haircut and style that you have. Longer haircuts and styles can go longer in between their revamps and their trims because you don't notice them grow out of their shape that often. But with shorter hair, you do have to cut it more often to maintain that shape. This can be as often as 2 to 4 weeks for the really short haircut styles. But if we want to talk about what's really necessary to keep the hair healthy, to maintain long-term growth and length, we should be doing a hair dusting every 6 to 8 weeks, depending on your texture. Every 6 weeks or so if your hair is finer, 8 weeks or so if your hair is more coarse and thick. Medium hair, you're in the middle. And listen, I know your hairdresser has told you this before, and it sounds crazy, but if we're not cutting our ends every 6 to 8 weeks, what's happening is split ends, and split ends can take form in many different ways. There's many different types of split ends. As you see here under a microscope, this is what's happening to your hair. And if we do not take care of these, they will manifest and grow and split further up the hair strand. And if length is your goal, this is going to be a problem. So my friend, it is time to take control, and I'm going to teach you how to dust those and just nip those ends in the butt all by yourself. Probably gonna want to drape yourself, unless you're okay with hair going everywhere. Okay, and get yourselves, they don't have to be expensive, but get yourselves some scissors that are made for cutting hair. Regular scissors, and especially old scissor shears, are not made sharp enough to cut the hair, and you can even create split ends if you're not using nice and sharp scissors. So get yourself some of those. I will link some good ones off of Amazon in the description box below. I am using mine, made for pros. These are Mitsutani puffin shears, and they are beautiful and very expensive. But that's not why we're here. We're here to save money. That's why we're doing this at home. We also have trust issues, but we don't have to talk about that right now. Okay. Okay, we've got our clippies, and we are going to be starting this process on dry hair. If your hair is naturally curly, you can do this on your naturally curly hair, as I am going to do today, or you can do this on your blown out straightened hair, which I usually do. I find it a little bit easier. But to dry, we always do this process dry. We want to be able to see those split ends, and we really can't see that when the hair is wet. Section by section, we are going to begin from the bottom. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Please just ignore my antics. You also want to be in front of a mirror. And so, the amount we're going to cut off is 1/4 inch. If you don't know what 1/4 inch is, that is, hold on, 1/4 inch. That is 6 millimeters, or basically 1/2 centimeter. It's very, very small. It is quite literally just the tip. So what we're going to be doing here is stretching small sections of the hair, and it doesn't have to be crazy precise, and trimming that little bit. Now, I would trim below the finger, not above, because that's going to be a lot more. You're going to actually notice that. But with the amounts that I'm going to cut off here, you won't notice that length being cut off. It'll just look like your hair from 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this first cut. And when I am cutting, I'm really trying to keep the blade straight, perpendicular 90 degrees to the hair shaft, because sliding and angles can also create split ends as well. Nothing inherently wrong with those techniques. Again, sometimes we do that particular to create a haircut shape. I want to reiterate that this is to maintain length and just trim split ends. And so after you have trimmed those very, very ends, I want you to look at any hairs that are sticking out just sporadically, because not all of our hair is at the length at our ends, right? The hair that we lose every day grows back, and that's why we have a lot of short flyaways and hairs throughout our length that can appear as frizz and can also become split. And so in order to treat those, you do the same thing, and this is where things get really tedious. By keeping the hair stretched, you just want to trim the very tips and ends, the tips as you see them. And where this technique becomes a little bit easier when the hair is straight is because you can just kind of do this kind of motion, which you still can do with the hair curly. You just have to stretch it taut like I'm doing. And I can literally see split ends. They have this little white dot at the end of them. I get split ends too, you know. While you are doing this, try not to over direct and then cut. Try to pull the section out straight from your head. Then pinch at the very tip, the very end, and then give it a little clip. And then once I've completed one side, I'll go ahead to the next and then continue this going up my head. I do like to work in sections from my face, then backwards. That way I know what's been done. I keep adding to this front section. I will be straight up with you that this process is tedious. It should not be rushed, and it is not a quick fix. So get yourself comfortable. Maybe put some music on, make yourself a drink, have some tea with me. I forgot about it and now it's cold. Moving on up, moving on up. Yeah, yeah. Now look, the last thing I would want is for you to mess up your own hair at home. And that's why I'm trying to show you this tutorial, because I do think that this is very doable to do at home. As in, it's easy if you have the patience, but it's also very unlikely that you are going to ruin your hair. Because again, we're not actually touching any of the length here. We are simply going through section by section and just cleaning up the ends, that if your hair was super straight and sleek and blunt cut, yeah, maybe you don't want to do this. But with curly hair, or even hair that is a little bit more textured and layered, it is possible to do this at home and to take care of your own hair. And well, that's why we're here. If you're noticing sections falling out while you are getting to the ends, your section is probably too big, and what's happening is you're losing your layers. So that's why you really want to just kind of pull out each small section out from the head. That way when you reach the end, it's the whole kind of curl strand. And then I'm looking throughout the length to see if there is any splits in sight. Making crazy faces. That's when you know things are going down. They're going down. So while she's doing that, hi, I'm Mel, 25 minutes from now, later. 25 minutes later. I'm not the best at maths, and maybe you're not either, but I do want to explain the maths as to why we do these little trims every 6 to 8 weeks and why you still retain length doing this. So, our hair grows approximately ½ an inch per month. That's every 4 weeks. So 4 weeks, we've got ½ an inch. If every 8 weeks we're cutting a ¼ inch, okay, so 8 weeks, let's say we grew a full inch and we're only cutting a quarter, that leaves you with about 3/4 of growth. That means by the end of the year, you'll have around 5 inches of growth and all healthy hair to continue growing because you've trimmed those ends that do get really raggedy. The ends of the length of that hair has been on your head for a really long time, and that wear and tear does get to it over time. If you think of the strand of your hair kind of like a rope that begins to unravel as you kind of pull on it and yank at it and tie it in a knot and throw it in a bow, it starts to unravel. And that is what we're seeing as the split end. And in between, you can mend it with products, but ultimately, we do need to trim these. Now, if you are only doing this, and you're doing this several times, and you're not getting a proper trim to bring you back to your hair's shape, you will notice that it's going to be all over the place, and there's not going to be any shape to your hair. So while you don't need to always lose length, but maintain shape with layers, these are important appointments to have with your stylist, just to make sure that your hair doesn't look raggedy. Now we're good to grow. I will show you what this looks like after the hair has been washed and styled. Let me just show you. Boom! Yes! Like, are you kidding me? It's the length retention for me. Cut where? Not my hair. And that is how you do the no haircut haircut. There has been no change here today. She's just much healthier. So on that note, grow on, sis. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, again, hit that subscribe button for much more videos like this each and every Texture Tuesday, and sometimes more. These bangs are bothering me, and maybe I have to do something about that. It just might be in an upcoming video. Until then, I have many more haircut videos. I will put my haircutting playlist below. You can also find hair color playlists on this channel, product battles, routines, all kinds of things, so you know what to do. And I hope to see you in the next one. Peace! That was very shocking. That could have been very ugly. What the fuck is that? What is in my hair? What is that in my hair? Oh no. I need this. I need this. Sis. Sirs? Baby, it's the bob for me. It's the bob for me. Where was I? Please, do not disturb me. No one's texting me, it's fine. And good eve. Okay. Kleiner Hai,
Kleiner Hai,
That video sometimes just lives rent-free. And why is nobody talking about how it is basically Baby Shark do 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 do.